Do leap years really matter? The concept of leap years was created to align our calendar with the Earth's orbit around the Sun. Our calendar is based on a 365-day year, but it actually takes the Earth approximately 365.24 days to orbit the Sun. This might not seem like a lot, but over time it adds up, and if we didn't account for it, our seasons would eventually be out of sync with our calendar. That's why we have leap years, to keep our calendar in check. There's a lot of confusion and misconceptions surrounding leap years. Some people think it's just an extra day tacked on to the end of February, or that it's only relevant for people born on February 29th. But the truth is, leap years have a much broader impact than that. I've even met people who think that leap years are just a myth, or a way for the government to control our lives. But let's get real, it's just a mathematical correction to keep our calendar accurate. One common misconception is that leap years only happen in the year 2000, or that it's only every 4 years. But the rule is actually a bit more complicated than that. A year is a leap year if it's divisible by 4, but not if it's divisible by 100, unless it's also divisible by 400. Yeah, it's a mouthful, but it's actually pretty simple once you get the hang of it. Despite the misconceptions, I think it's fair to say that most people don't really think about leap years that much. We just kind of accept that it's an extra day in February every 4 years and move on with our lives. But I'm curious, do leap years really matter? Do they actually have any impact on our daily lives? Let's take a step back and look at the history of leap years. The concept of leap years has been around for thousands of years, with ancient civilizations like the Egyptians and the Mayans using their own versions of leap years to keep their calendars accurate. The modern leap year rule was actually introduced by Julius Caesar in 45 BCE as part of the Julian calendar. However, it wasn't until the 16th century that the rule was refined to include the exceptions for years divisible by 100 and 400. Different cultures and calendars have their own ways of handling leap years. For example, the Chinese calendar has a leap month, which is an extra month added to the calendar to keep it in sync with the solar year. The Islamic calendar, on the other hand, is a lunar calendar and doesn't have leap years at all. Instead, it's about 11 days shorter than the solar year, which means that the dates of Islamic holidays shift relative to the solar calendar over time. So, how do leap years affect us in our daily lives? Well, for one thing, they affect how we calculate age. If you were born on February 29th, you technically only have a birthday every 4 years. But of course, most people celebrate their birthday on February 28th or March 1st in non-leap years. Leap years also affect birthdays in another way. If you were born on February 29th, you're technically not getting older in non-leap years. Leap years also have an impact on finance. For example, if you're paying interest on a loan that's compounded annually, you'll be paying more interest in a leap year because there are 366 days instead of 365. It might not seem like a lot, but over time, it can add up. And if you're an accountant or a financial analyst, you need to take leap years into account when doing your calculations. But the impact of leap years goes beyond just age calculations and finance. It's about maintaining the accuracy of our calendar and making sure that our seasons stay in sync with the Earth's orbit around the Sun. Without leap years, our calendar would be off by about 6 hours every year, which might not seem like a lot, but over time, it would add up and cause chaos. So, to answer the question, do leap years really matter? The answer is yes, they do. They might not have a huge impact on our daily lives, but they're an important part of maintaining the accuracy of our calendar. And who knows? Maybe one day we'll need to refine the leap year rule again to account for even smaller variations in the Earth's orbit. Thanks for watching, and if you have a favorite leap year story or experience, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below.